Holy shite. We might be able to read today. We might actually be able to read today. That'd be something else, huh? Let me just turn on some music. Hello, hello. We have no new characters for once to add. So, yeah, we might actually, at least the board won't grow. Yeah, we might actually be able to read today. Isn't that something else? A ton of notes, however. Oh, yes, definitely. Just good job in punishing sleep aspects. It's always a great thing to do. Me. Oh boy, where do you even start with Irina? I don't fucking know. There's been more time over the writers did. Damn. Gilbert's promotion is worth noting. Ah, yes, his promotion and his downside of being inundated still. Okay. Is that all of them? Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go through. First off, you two. Worthless dads? Yeah, worthless dads. I'm just gonna call them that. Let's see. You got nothing new? Ah, right. For you, definitely. Swift brings jacket every night. Is Carrie here? I'm not sure. She sometimes comes in a bit late. Oh, friendship will save him. Yes, it did. That was stupid, but yeah, it did. Is it really a friendship save if it was Andy who saved him? Oh, right, and before I forget, we got another save counter up. What the fuck? Oh, didn't we get another head pat, I think? Yeah, okay. Oh, hello, Gary. By the way, we're gonna need 3 and 9s today, because I will probably actually end up reading for fucking once. Let's see what else we got here. want the link again? Yeah, I'll need the link again. Kyle asked if you were here, Carrie. I don't know why. Remember which chapter? I think I was at chapter 3 or 4 was the last one I read. Yeah, where is Smith? Oh, right, I need to get a faded image for a couple of these characters. Right, hold on a second. So, Carrie, BB, do you think Zeno and Leo and the rest of Zephyr were justified in ditching Fee after Rutger died? I think a bit of a problem I have is how little characterization Zeno and Leo actually have. So, like, if Zeno and Leo had more characterization, I probably have a more definitive answer, but because they're so weak, it makes it a lot harder. But going off what little we have... I think they are... Okay, I think total abandonment was not justified, but I think they should have... I think they should have actually, like, directed her to places, like, if Sarah didn't find her, she would have been really screwed, so... They should have actually been like, okay, they should have actually, like, dropped her off at a place or something at least, you know? Like, they shouldn't have, like, actually completely abandoned her. I think that caused some problems for her. They knew Sarah would find her? I forgot. If that's a detail, I forgot about it, honestly. Let's see, effects, gray out. Okay. Save as. I need to create another folder. Week 10. Okay. Save, go here. They knew that Sarah and the Brazier were observing the fight between the bosses. Okay. So yeah, there's not much contention there, it's okay. Yeah. I do think that them going like, oh, how's Fee doing? I hope she's fine and we better be treating her well in Code 2 was cringe, to put it simply. But considering that they, like, I don't know, I'll be honest there, like, guys, if you really care that much, just fucking write her letters and update her, like, come on. Come on, she was worried as fuck about what happened, and why stuff happened, and why she was abandoned, like, you guys didn't just fucking, like, they really should have wrote letters to her or something, like, hey, hi, Fee, sorry about everything that happened, like, come on, come on. Coffee has more character with his letters to read in comparison? Yep. Do you agree that giving Key the option of a different life, I should think that is her after she just lost her daddy figure is messed up? Oh, absolutely. On that front. There we go. You know, yeah, writing a letter once and how they are proud of her. They could have even easily sunk it in as a bonding event and coach at one. Oh, that would have been really cool, actually, yeah. You know, you like Xeno, but that's mostly because his voice is odd, but what do you think a Jaeger is? Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, let's just add a note for Fee, which is she's finally learned the truth. Here's freaking fuck. He's the same V. He's Junpei? I'm sorry, what? I didn't realize he was Jumpy. Holy shit. Okay. Where do I think Fee goes next? She might just keep being a bracer, honestly, which is fine. Not sure she's gonna get any more out of that. You do like these faction emblems? Oh, they help so fucking much. You have no idea, Gary. Or, well, you made them, so I guess you have a very good idea. So, was it loyalty to Rutger that like Xeno and Leo had to bear up with the crap in Goto too? I guess. The only way to view the board for your sanity. Any closer and you start losing your mind, you see? This percent at the bottom is not how far out we're zoomed. This is how much sanity you're losing when you get closer in. Boop, 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 boop. I do think, like... Okay, can anyone explain to me why the fuck the game is so adamant on making it... on making the, what should I call it? Why the game is so adamant on having like the character, having the Jaegers not be seen as complete douches and vile people. Like, why does it do this? But like, why? Why am I supposed to feel anything but really big hate for this motherfucker? It wasn't exactly in Koto 2, they were still working in order to revive him. Oh, right. Oh, he's actually, okay, I guess, let me clarify there. I dislike him a lot because because of that, like, I was kind of neutral on him, honestly, for the longest time, Carrie. I was like, he's fine enough. At least he seems to care about Fee and stuff. And then he has this final scene where everyone confronts him, like, dude, you're working for a guy who wants to end the world. And he's like, yeah, but I got a job, so I gotta finish it, you know? I don't want the world to end, but, you know, I got a job, gotta do it. It's like, the fuck? Are you serious? Like, that honestly did the reverse. Like, I was actually fine for Rutger for the most part. I actually kind of liked him. But that scene alone made my opinion do almost a 180 because it goes from my man is just doing what he has to because, like, I'll be honest. I assumed that Rutger was doing this because he was a Divine Knight. He was an Awakener and he didn't have a choice in the matter. Like, I just assumed that, like, Rutger was participating in all this and doing all this terrible stuff because he didn't have a choice. He was an Awakener, he had a Divine Knight, he had to go through with it. No matter how much he might not have wanted to, you know? Like, that's what I assumed, and then it turns out, nah. He's actually just doing this because he's fucking got, you know, he's contract loyalty. Gotta work with a man who's gonna end the world, even if I don't want that. It's like, what? In my mind, I had a better explanation for this than what was actually given, which, like, fucking does something to my mind. It's just going, why? We have to end up losing anyway for Ishmelka to win the rivalries. Essentially, like, he had to participate anyway, and like, if he was like if he went like, you know what, if I can win and I can keep Fee safe in the end, that's good. If you can keep her safe, that's good too. Like, fuck that. Oh god, now I'm just thinking about that. That would have been so much better. Holy shit. Like, imagine for a second if Ruker went like. Imagine for a second if Ruker was like, look, I don't want to help end the world. I want to try because my daughter's in it, you know? But like, I need to try and save. We have to do this rivalry thing. And if that means saving, and whoever's stronger will come out and hopefully be able to beat that little Megatron fellow, you know? Like, oh, that makes me sad now thinking about it. Okay, how do I explain this? If Ruker's entire goal was essentially like to make sure Fee has a good world to live in for herself, like she can live for herself and everything, then if he decides like, you know what, I'm gonna try to win the rivalries and be the one who is gonna conquer it all and beat everyone, that way Fee can stay safe and not have to like suffer, like that'd be good. And then it's like if when Rean beats him, he's like, yeah, guess I didn't have to worry that much. Looks like Fee's in good hands, you know, like. I don't know. Just the contract thing when the world is gonna end is like, that's not good. Anyway, sorry. Jaegers kind of had to stick to the contract, so otherwise various countries would wipe them out. Maybe his contract was, you are revived, so help us in the world. He was boned, either way. Allowing a paramilitary organization to operate freely in the country is a bad idea usually, as we're saying the rivalries though. Well, it's almost certainly has to do it because he's a Divine Knight. Yeah, I was kind of fine with that as an explanation. I really did not need to hear him say, oh yeah, you know, I know it's all bad. Like, I understand they have to follow their contracts, but imagine for a second if their contract was, hey, I need you to go to this village and murder every single person who's there, by the way. Look, that might be just how he thinks of it. Maybe, but like, I don't think they give enough development to it in that case. This game barely ever, like, avoids telling the stories. So avoids going on about, avoids, like, being very direct. It's usually incredibly direct of a story. So it's just, like, not saying that directly, if that's his actual reasoning, is kind of annoying for me. Well, the game's not done yet either. Yeah, you're correct. He's gonna come back to life. Yeah, you'd rather who just went deeply, you know what you have to do. Right, for you, I want to say... Okay. Yeah. You know, I just realized we have to, for 2 side characters here, the diatribes about this, and it's just like, wow. Oh, Emma's new spell. The date rape one? Where is Emma? There she is. Have a good day, Kyle. Ever put a note into Emma for divining? No. Let's see that. Did I do the Hugo yesterday in the end? What? No. I think that's a spoiler. I didn't have the time. Hopefully I forget what you said. I have no responsibility for her actions. That was good. I like that. For you. And Gilbert is up here. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's different when it's state-sponsored terrorism. Yeah, I suppose so. Somehow. Yep. You know, it's really... I'm not gonna lie. It's really weird how, like, certain parts of these games is, like, not... Like, okay, how do I put this? Certain parts of these games are, like, not well... foreshadowed nowadays, I think. I think a lot of them are really badly done. And then there's stuff like... Alistair being Blue Blanc was actually, like... decently done. In fact, I say it's good foreshadowing. They didn't make it immediately obvious. If you paid attention to certain parts of dialogue, what he does and stuff, like, you'd figure it out. It's so strange. There's some stuff that hasn't had any payoff yet. Oh, like the fucking Oreo still being given? Just small things, not massive things. Oh, right. What was I gonna say here? Now I'm trying to remember. What was to be said? Right, what was the theory I was having? Ah, that's right. Artoria will not die because after rivalry because of something the Grandmaster did to her. When will Annabelle get her moment? Don't worry, she's gonna be... It's gonna come. It's gonna come. Eventually. Definitely. I'm feeling so bad for Tovo, honestly. It just doesn't do much at all. I think that's sad. Girl failure, still failure. Oh, right, where's Doobie? I need to add a... Here we go. Curse has her really interested in Green. This Yep, there we go. Huh. You know, I just realized the Valimor picture is actually a fucking spoiler. Whoever gave me the Valimor picture for when he's no longer fucking evil. Shit. Tovo's role in Kotsu 2 was the bracer. Problem is that since Kotsu 3, we had more characters of that role while still having more interesting things going on. Which is saying something when Tovo is dating a Grausritter. Like, that's saying something, ain't it, huh? Do you think I put him on the board after we rescued him? Oh, I am the spoiler. I fucked up. I'll blow up my head later, okay? Okay. Oh, worst person, right, okay. Son of us. Okay, guys, let's start listing all. I desire to clown on Irina. Please aid me in this effort. Okay? Okay. So, actions of a smart person include separating your company into different divisions, letting them do what they want, and letting them report their own finances. What else we got for her so far? Working with an organization that aims to end the world while not wanting the world to end. What else we got there? What else we got there? God, what a fucking piece of shit that one is, huh? Somehow the only person, only Matot concerned about literal kids fighting in a war. There's a lot of dumb stuff she's done, and I'm trying to remember some of the other dumb stuff she's done. What was another one? What was another one? While you guys are coming up, I'm trusting you guys to come up with to think about more of what she's done, because these are two major things that are really bad for her. But I'm trying to remember what else has she done. Oh God. So I'm saying you think you're go if you listen to this and edit an Umineko stream. You might achieve enlightenment. You might go around and achieve enlightenment and learn the truths of the universe. Or you could lose your mind so badly that you believe that Umineko is reality. Hired a sociopathic assassin? Oh, that's a good thing to know. Known, you mean Irina? Yep. That is a bit crazy when you put it like that, huh? You know, she really is quite stupid, huh? This note is bigger than some characters on this board otherwise. Okay, I think that's good enough for her for now. I don't have anything to say for Gwen. Fine. Oh, right. I need to put this for Jingo. Is raising the next divine beast of Earth for Arabonia. Yep. I feel like that's good for her. You know, that is what she's doing. We all agree, right? Saying there's no service portrait? Oh, yeah, that's absolutely sad as fuck. The Anton pick? Oh yeah, it absolutely is, which I think adds to its fun factor. Do that. Right over there. Good. You start trying to wonder what alignment brought about by Yumi Neku would look like. A lot. Obviously, it looks like a locked room. Oh, yeah. Let me just fucking put this here. Everything about his story line would be made better by removing the curse. You mean the pattern with the asylum? Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Windy Boy? Sure, where's the fucking wind? Sidelined for so long, he became a party master. Did I give Gilbert a note? Yeah, he's either the biggest joke of the snakes or the biggest loss of resources. One of those two. Where the fuck is Sarah? She should be, I think... there she is. Okay. Not a lot of updates this time so far. Yeah, I'm fine with that right now though, because I do want to get to reading. Like, I legitimately want to read some fucking... Like, God, it's been It's been so fucking long since we've read anything here. Like, come on. Come on, can you blame me? I don't think you can. Okay, so I did read chapter 3. I recognize... Oh, right, I need to check the game quickly because I don't remember how many chapters I've got up to at the minute. Okay, what books do I have? So I have up to chapter 8 of 3 and 9. I've read all the Legendary Chosen Ones. I think I have to say, if you say goodbye, the second part. I don't need to read the next Coco Panda. Okay, let's read that quickly. Hold on a second, let me pause the music from the other thing. You guys even see this? No, because it's over. Okay, hold on. Let's read. I don't think I've read this. I don't remember anything about this, but let's go. If you say goodbye, chapter 2, ending cost. Over the next few years, Sai made countless trips to the cemetery. Every time, he'd lay toys on Martha's grave and the graves of the other children, hoping for a chance to see them laugh and play again as they had in life. It's only polite to share, right, Martha? These kids don't seem to like my toys so much, though. What am I doing wrong? Day after day, Sai would speak to the empty air in front of the little gravestone. One day, he was sure he'd come to find that the toys had moved or disappeared. That was getting through to his old friend. That day never came. Oh right, girl died and he's sad. Made some tears I'm using. Is that why you can't touch these? Thinking about it that way then. His head alive with new ideas, Sai left the toys and shoved back to his workshop to try something new. Time marched onward, and the young toymaker continued to place offerings at the grave to no avail. Then one evening, as the sun was going down, something occurred to him. An idea very different from his usual way of thinking. If I could only find a way to give you a body again, you would play with these just fine. Why hadn't he thought of that before? Finally, I directed to take his research. Oh! You know, I wish I read this earlier. We got fucking Dr. Frankenstein! Yay! Oh shit. 30 long years went by. Sai worked like a man possessed, barely eating or sleeping. His workshop deteriorated into a grimy, chaotic mess. His body became thin and emancipated, but he worked on, chasing after every last of his arcane knowledge he could find. He was determined to see Martha again, no matter the cost. It was a cold, crisp morning as Sai walked along the odd-to-familiar path to Martha's grave, a complex mix of steel and wires held under his arms. This was the result of all his labors, a device that could, in theory, be used to give the spirit a physical form. He switched it on and began to emit a strange noise. It started as a low-pitched drone, but gradually got higher and higher, penetrating through the air, through stone buildings, even through living flesh. It was as if the whole of reality was being strained to its breaking point. The means stopped and Sai looked around him. He didn't see Martha anywhere. Did it work? Something in the air did feel different. Taking up his device, Sai skulked away to investigate. Even before he reached the town, it was obvious that all was not well. It was too quiet. Even at this time of day, there should be crowds of people bustling around as they made their way to work. Sure enough, the streets were full of people now. But the last one of them had fallen to the ground, lay there motionless as if their life had been drained out of them, leaving only empty husks. Well, what is this? I was trying for souls to physically matter, not this, so why? Sai felt his knees begin to buckle as he began to realize the horror they'd done. He ran through the town, desperate to find another living human. There had to be somebody out there besides him. No, this is all wrong. This isn't meant to happen. Sai sank to his knees as the spirit gripped his heart. They were all gone. He spent his life trying to make contact with living, and now he was the only living man left. He made a fucking spiritual nuke. He made a spiritual nuke. This man made a spiritual fucking nuke. So then, after the next part is him getting hired by Ouroboros, right? Holy shit, okay. He made a weapon that kills people, takes away people's spirits. How impressive? Okay. Do you have any theories about books I've read in the past? I have a theory now about this one, so I'm going to add it to the board before I forget. Hi, Ark. I just read about a man creating a spirit nuke because he wanted to revive a child that he accidentally died once. And now we're into the reading parts. And now we're gonna read for a long time. To be fair, that was what Testarossa was doing back when it was the Vermilion Apocalypse. Yeah, so this man has obviously been hired by Ouroboros to replicate that effect. Because there is no fictional stories in Zemuria, except for the news. Anyway, let's read 3 and 9s. We got a lot we can read now, which should be fun. Yeah, we can read up to chapter 8. Chapter 4, 3 of Swords. They haunt me relentlessly. All the people I've murdered over the years. There went cypress trees. Why did you bring up that torturous thing? All the people I've murdered over the years. I cut off their heads, carved their hearts from the chest, slit their torsos right through the middle. But no matter what I do, an army of corpses continue to pursue me. I see them every time I close my eyes. The politicians, the nobles, the merchants, the rich and powerful. Leave me alone, 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 leave me alone! I frantically swing my sword at them. I cut, bisecting them, slashing them apart. But they don't relent. Chunks of flesh and bone, viscera and intestines, lungs and brains. They gather into a writhing mass that comes crashing down on me like a gory wave, threatening to swallow me whole. Get away, get away, get away, get away! Try to escape, they corner me again and again. My victim staring at me with hollow eyes, accusing me. How could you do this to us? How? They throw themselves at me, their decaying fingers gripping my neck, trying to rip the life out of me just as I did to them. What the fuck is happening here? Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go! Frantically thrash and shrug, but no matter what I do, I can't break away. Rotting blood and bile trickles down my body, dissolving into my skin. The wave finally swallows me up. I just want a normal life. I just want my humanity back. I woke up from my nightmare, my breath short and ragged. My entire body was soaked in horrible sweat. I fought back the rising urge to vomit. Okay, we got his nightmare, then we got... Okay, either that's supposed to be him, or this is a night something more. Okay, okay. The night after completing mission was always like this. The only difference was seeing one more face in the crowd. Even after years, my disgust for murder has never abated, not even the slightest. Not much time passed, I couldn't rid myself of the scars left in my mind by the terrible acts I'd performed. And yet, I had no choice but to continue. 999 were nothing but tools. Our individual thoughts and ideals had no meaning. They're completely unnecessary. All the organization required from us was a skillful capacity for murder and unquestioning subordination. To kill those we were ordered to. Our entire existence boiled down to a single point. To reject an order or attempt escape was tantamount to suicide. The organization. So, I think I said this during the last time we read, like quite a while back, but I think that this organization is the one Sharon might have been a part of. I think that's eminently reasonable so far from what I remember knowing. The organization. To even speak its true name was forbidden. It was a group of professional killers that existed in the shadows of society. Listen to this cool fucking jazz while I read, yep. Its core business was eliminating marks, but its true objective likely lie elsewhere. As a low-ranking member, I was simply one of the organization's weapons. There's no reason for such info to be shared with me. Most of the members of the organization had served it since they were children. Children deemed to possess special potential were made to undergo combat instruction and exercised in a place known as the Factory. The majority of children who enter the Factory would never see it again beyond its walls. Unable to endure the merciless training they were put through, it would become their tomb. The lucky ones who did survive, however, were officially recognized as entry-level members of the organization. That's what happened with me. I was forced to abandon who I was when I first passed through the factory's door at 7 years old. Anyone who dared utter their former name would be subject to severe punishment. There was no concept of individuality. Life in the organization meant nothing more than being another tool in an arsenal. It wasn't until I graduated at the age of 10 that I was given a name. Only served to solidify my status as a weapon, however. Our names, more like titles, are based on tarot cards. Okay, so this might be Ouroboros, actually. Okay, fine, fine. If you're being based on tarot cards, you're probably Ouroboros. In my case, the monk card I see was from the Minor Arcana 3 of Swords. It didn't have the slightest bit of humanity to it, but it was better than having no name at all. Both the higher-ups and a small fraction of the very best candidates were given a name based on the Major Arcana. Okay, yes, this is just Ouroboros. Got it. Okay. This is a fucking published story. Am I not supposed to, like, I am not being dissuaded from every book is fact, you know? I'm not being dissuaded from that in the slightest. Everyone who survived training made it was skilled, but in terms of combat ability, the Major Arcana could run circles on the best of us. Rumor had it they were even more powerful than top-ranked racers. I left my room and peeked into the neighboring one. It seemed like 9 was still sleeping. Honestly, let me just turn down the volume of that music a tiny bit. There we go. It was time for my report, so I headed out on my own. Lower-level members of the organization generally operate in pairs. My partner is 9 of Swords, a girl 1 year my junior. 9 was a natural genius. She graduated from factory in a single year despite the fact that the average kid takes 3 to 5. They didn't make it to graduation without dropping out, that is. From gathering info to analyzing battle situations, acting abilities to infiltration tactics, she was top class in a multitude of fronts. To say nothing of her combat style, which made use of needles and threads. I can control the field of battle and dominate her foes. I swear to goodness gracious, I'd like it, that. Okay, that cannot be Sharon, even if it sounds like Sharon, because, well, Sharon, I think, was older when she was recruited. On all, her abilities were far better. It's not possible that just an organization with tarot card themes just exist. Doubt. And I'm quite sure Ouroboros would kill them, Rush, because that is a absolute, like, you have, okay, Rush, you have seen Ouroboros' dedication to their fucking spreading their iconography. Do you really think for a second they would even allow another secret organization to keep up with taking their theme away? Do you think they would do that? No, that organization will be eliminated in an instant. Copyright infringement is a serious business for Ouroboros. They have fought hard and long for this. On our abilities were far better suited to assassination than mine were. It was a bit awkward for us when we were first paired up, but after working together for a year, I can honestly say she was the best partner I'd ever had, and the most reliable. At the same time, she was also the person I needed to regard with the most caution. The reason why the organization used partnerships was twofold. The obvious reason was that it helped facilitate missions, but also forced each partner to monitor the other. In the organization, betrayal was swiftly returned with death. A tool was doomed to serve until it breaks. As such, we were expected to be part of the organization the entirety of our lives. As a general rule, we were afforded no freedom. There did, however, exist special rules. One were a sense that their partner was scheming to betray the organization, they could sell them out to gain their own freedom. All you had to do was make the report, present sufficient evidence to your suspicion, and then you were given the task of eliminating them yourself. If you succeeded, you were free. Maybe drop my gnosis? I don't have any. Something running away meant resigning yourself to looking over your shoulder the rest of your life. The organization had eyes everywhere. Anyone who wanted true freedom was better off waiting for the chance to turn the partner in. There was another problem too. The worst of the worst would actually fabricate proof of their partner's betrayal in an effort to earn their own freedom. Thus, the person you need to regard most cautiously was not the enemy you faced on mission, but the partner who was always at your side. You need to entertain and accept the notion that you can be betrayed at any time. Members did not turn their backs on the organization. This was an absolute requirement for survival, and a lesson I learned very early through personal experience. 3 years ago, I tried to escape. Well, I suppose it was more we than I. At the time, I was partnered with another boy, one known as the Ace of Swords. I just see Guy and Boyd in this picture. A big game of Among Us, of course. Ace was a year my senior. He was a pretty good guy. He is not dead. You have given him a design, therefore I declare him not to be dead. We got along well enough, and he clearly grew into an older brother figure of me. He wielded a giant sword with ease, one as long as he was tall, and he used it both to destroy our enemies and protect me. He really was an ace when it came to battle. In that sense, his name couldn't have been more appropriate. One thing Ace and I shared was a contempt for the murders we were forced to perform. I can't remember how the idea of escaping the organization came up initially, but I do recall neither one of us objected to it. As I mentioned, the system was set up to prevent individual members from betraying the organization, as you could be sold out by their partner. We figured the best way around that was simply work together and scale the organization as a team. With our objective decided, we began planning in earnest. We quickly decided that we needed to execute a plan as far away from the other pairs of assassins employed by the organization. Before our plan went well enough, we entered Airborne thinking that a considerable distance from our normal area of operations meant we could enjoy a certain degree of safety. That was a severe misjudgment on our part, though. The organization had... Oh my god, it's gonna be a fucking long talk. The organization had eyes there as well. We were approached by other pairs of assassins twice, and both times ended with combat. We managed to turn them off, however. Ace and I were partners for a reason, and we fought well together. The third time, however, it was our overseer paid us a visit. To say his powers overwhelming wouldn't do it justice. It was like trying to fight a force of nature. We barely managed to escape our lives, suffering heavy wounds in the process. With nowhere else to go, we huddled together in the cave, conscious of the fact our next encounter with our overseer would surely be our last. Nothing more to say about the situation, and for what felt like an eternity, we passed the time in silence. Hey Ace, I began speaking. Feeling that would be the last conversation we'd ever have. What's up, buddy? I just want to say that, all things considered, I think everything could have been a lot worse. What's that supposed to mean? Struggled through the pain to force out a little smirk at my comment. Don't get me wrong, I have plenty of regrets, but still, Ace waiting signs for me to continue. Being by your side all this time, what's making my life so much better, Ace. And even if we're fated to meet our deaths here, it's a million times better than spending a lifetime as just another tool. The fire flickered. Our shadows danced to the cave wall. Finally, Ace broke the silence, his voice a mere whisper. 3. Thanks for everything, man. You too, Ace. Thank you. I'd say what I needed to say. I felt that if our opponent were to arrive at every moment, I felt that if our opponent were to arrive at that very moment, I'd at least be able to give my whole soul to the battle. But then, if that's how you feel, Ace started. Suddenly, the ambience of the cave completely shifted. Like some horrible hallucination. Ace's icy voice pierced through me, showed me the bone. Then die, buddy. Die for me. My first reaction was slight confusion. I actually interpreted it as a clone's way of saying that we'd face our deaths together. I turned to face him just to clarify, and what I saw next was Ace's massive sword being down towards my head. I immediately dodged a strike, and the ground where I'd been laying only a moment ago had shattered to rubble. Ace, what are you doing? You can't figure it out on your own? Have you gotten the final rule for those who betray the organization? Oh, yeah. So, they didn't mention who the Overseer is, and we don't know when this is taking place, but if this is Ouroboros, it's entirely possible that this is Ace just got fucking mind controlled or mind fucked by Wiseman. That's entirely plausible. It's not even horribly unreasonable, I'll be honest. The final rule, I hadn't forgotten, I simply hadn't given much thought. It seemed irrelevant to our situation. But everything clicked into place then. When two partners betrayed the organization, the only way for one of them to gain its forgiveness was to kill the partner and present the organization with a corpse. The idea behind the rule was to force escapees into a sense of desperation, and then push them into killing each other. Taking care of the problems so the organization didn't have to. To my absolute shock, this was precisely what Ace was trying to do. I understood what was happening, but all I could do was ask why over and over. Ace, why? Why are you doing this? You know, buddy, becoming partners with you was the only bit of luck I've had this whole goddess damned life. I really didn't want to be free together, to get our humanity back together. Then why are you? Because I need to survive, it said, his voice dripping with desperation. I can't die like this. Oh, right. Also, you're in Erebonia. Oh, I forgot the most important part, guys. He's in No. Wiseman didn't do this. They're in Erebonia. It's the curse. It's the fucking curse. Obviously. I want to die. But no, unironically, this is probably the curse. Like, all things considered, this is how the curse has been said to be working most of the time. And they're in Erebonia. So, yeah, they're in Erebonia. So, it's actually very likely this is, in fact, the curse. Like, unironically. And I will say, this is actually perhaps because I don't know that much about Ace, I actually find this use of the curse a bit more fine. Because it actually feels like a desperate measure that someone might consider. But yeah, I'm totally saying that Ace doing this here is because of the curse. Screaming wildly, Ace swung the sword at me again. The same sword that I'd used to save my life more times than I could count was now being used as an attempt to end it. Just die, he screamed. I tried to scream back, but the horrible knot in my stomach and the stern motion in my heart ensured that the only thing that came out of my mouth was a meaningless warble as I met his sword with my own. Engulfed in despair, I strained control to my instincts and engaged this enemy in combat as I would any other. I don't remember clearly what happened from there. All I know is I overtaking my rage and sadness became a slashing, screaming monster. I finally brought to my senses, but it sounds like the curse may have controlled both of them there, honestly. The dialogue with Ruker and Class 7, some of the clunks you ever seen, makes sense to the in the world. You're doing it because like, what the? Yeah, I agree. There's Devin. We talked about that. That's how I managed to survive. How I won back my position as one of the organizing tools, and that's where I've been ever since. Our escape was a deadly failure that laid bare my inadequacies, and I said I'd given up on winning back my humanity. But I damned if I was going to trust anyone else ever again. To be continued. Yeah, so that was the curse. Like, unironically, I'm not sure if 3 was controlled by the curse too in this one, but I'm absolutely certain, considering they were in Erebonia, that Ace got controlled by the curse, or influenced by it rather, and that's why he did what he did. Chapter 5, The Overseer and the Report. The town was practically empty, and the first rays of dawn were only just beginning to pierce the dark sky above. Stepping out of the inn, 3 inhaled deeply, filling his lungs with the chilly air in an effort to dispel his drowsiness. This town, known as Luzent, was located on the border of Calvard and Riveria. 3 and 9 would often undertake missions in both countries, making the centrally located town a perfect base of operations. Each town east of the town was an official border crossing into Calvert. In stark contrast, westward lay a mountain road known only to a select few. It was a treacherous path, to be sure, but also one that facilitated entering the Republic without a need to go through official channels. 3 headed to the designated rendezvous point, a small hill surrounded by weathered boulders. The site was deep in the mountains and therefore free of wanted eyes. There he found a black silhouette waiting for him. It was a man hidden in shadow, wrapped in a tattered black coat that obscured his body and face both. Despite his bedraggled attire, his presence had an insurmountable weight to it, instilling a primal sort of fear into any who laid eyes onto him. "I'm here to make my report," said 3. In response, the cloaked figure uttered only a single word: "Speak." This man, known as the Overseer, was one of the higher-ranking members of the organization. He was given the name of Emperor from Major Arcana, but those who served him only knew him as the Overseer. Oh. Wait, what was it? Arcana number 4. No, Wiseman was Anguish, so he didn't have an Arcana. Have we met? I don't think we have met Enforcer number 4, right? I'm quite sure we haven't, at least. As his title suggested, he watched over 3 and the rest of the organization's tools. He was the one who provided mission instructions and received the reports. 3 relayed the details of the Haldor mission to the Overseer. As he finished, the man spoke again. Next. Right, regarding 9 of Swords. As part of the briefing, every member was required to report on the partner's activities. Each of the pair would separately describe what they did and what they observed the partner doing. Even the slightest discrepancy between the repair's reports would be regarded with suspicion. The objective behind this requirement was to instill them with fear that any plot they may hatch to betray the organization would suddenly make its way to the ears of their superiors. That is all, 3 said as he finished his report. Very well, the Overseer said. You'll be in contact with instructions for the next mission once they are ready. Understood. 3 turned to head back to town, but as he did, the Overseer spoke again. This is more than a whisper, it was a lever of the weight that froze 3 in his tracks. Nope, we haven't met Enforcer number 4. Okay. Represents power, authority, and responsibility. Yeah, that fits for someone who has to oversee the fucking trainees. Stop. 3 slowly turned around and faced the Overseer. As always, his dark hood completely covered his face. It's been 3 years now. You've not been designing any more plans, have you? 3 felt a sudden chill shoot through his spine. The Overseer's suffocating gaze was laced with powerful malice. There was no need for 3 to ask for clarification. He knew the Overseer was talking about his escape attempt 3 years prior. The Emperor had personally conducted many of the organization's purges of runaway members. As their very lives became threatened, many lower-ranking members would find themselves overwhelmed by fear, rendering them powerless before the merciless Emperor. Thus, even within the organization, a cruel place in its own right, the Emperor had earned himself a reputation for his savagery. He was also the very same man who tracked down 3 and Ace during their escape attempt. And I'm questioning currently why... I will admit, I am questioning why they have this program right now, because if this is Ouroboros, it's like... Okay, if this is Ouroboros, they can install, like, why... Can't they do something like what they do with the Enhanced Saviors, where they, like, can wipe the people's memories? Like, I don't see why you have to go through all this trouble of, like, oh, fuck, we gotta train them up, and then... Like, okay, you trained them, but then it's like, oh, well, we have to eliminate them when they leave, and it's like... Shouldn't you just kind of, like, immediately just mind wipe them and be like, okay, don't remember anything, we don't care anymore? Wouldn't that be easier for them? Had he already picked up on 3's new plan to escape? No, 3 found that thought absurd. He had taken every step with the utmost care and prudence. Further, if the Emperor had obtained some proof of 3's wrongdoing, the young assassin would already be dead. This was a test. If 3 wavered here, even the slightest would mean his end. I never again attempt something so foolish. I'm a tool of the organization, nothing more. My sole purpose is to take the lives of my targets. The way he casts his eyes, his calculating practicing of speech, his natural breathing patterns, 3 had pulled it off to perfection. Silence hung heavy in the air between them for a moment. Finally, the Emperor spoke. I do hope that is the case. The murderous presence faded into the air as the tension had been building in 3's chest. There are certain expectations riding your shoulders, the Emperor said. I have fully devoted myself to meeting them, 3 said in the same practiced tone. He knew once more to return to town and was not stopped this time. He bought it. No, he didn't. Back at his inn room, 3 let out a sigh of relief as he collapsed into his bed. Nothing really happened during exchange with the Overseer, but nonetheless, he felt completely drained. Without exception, each interaction he had with the Overseer was psychologically exhausting. This was to be expected, however, as he was indeed hiding his true intention with the organization. In truth, 3 had been planning a second escape attempt. The past 3 years have been grueling, but did nothing to quash his fervent desire for freedom. If anything, his desire to reclaim his humanity had grown stronger by the day. However, each day also saw his blood-drenched hands grow like heavier with sin. It was a mere tool, human physical form only. What few shreds of humanity still remained in his heart, he feared would be forever lost he feared would be forever lost before much longer. Each new day that dawned could be the day that he finally slipped away into being nothing more than a device. One's only function was assassination. Put simply, a cold-hearted monster. That was a terrifying future he dreaded above all else. I absolutely need to succeed this time. I need to get out. His plan had two requirements. He absolutely needed to meet in order to succeed. You could even say it was furniture. Not a fucking again! What? First off, he needed to avoid a direct confrontation with the Overseer. Second, Nine could not find out his plan regardless of the partnership. He had to be careful to avoid even giving the impression he had longer freedom. Of course, this meant that 3 would be forced to abandon 9, someone who had fought at his side through countless life-or-death situations. The girl was even younger than he was, but for all of her genius, there seemed to be something off about her. Nonetheless, wherever 3 thought about the moment he was about to pull the trigger and finally put his plan in motion, it was so a strange sensation welling up inside him. Strangely enough, it was just the urge to fill her in. There's a number of times where 3 had tried actually. Before he could even get the first word out, however, Mary's days of sorts being down toward him would flash through his mind. In the end, he always remained silent. I can't take this anymore. Can't let my scars define me. I know what I have to do. There's no other way. He shook off his thoughts plaguing him and turned his focus on preparing for his escape. The only person I can trust is myself. The rest of the day went by quickly, and before long, dusk began to settle on the town. The day saw 3's diligence pay off, and at last, his operations had gone as smoothly as he could have hoped for. The time had finally arrived. He would set his plan to motion that night. Once 9 fell asleep, he would leave town by the mountain road. Once in Calvert, he would be traveling by car and already arranged for a rental to take him up north to a certain city. Once he arrived, he promptly set off for Rebel via one of the international airship routes that regularly part of the city. He had to decide what to do after that point. To stay a night or two in Rebel, or perhaps head over to Lemon, in case he needed to get as far away from his current location as possible. He may have been the lowest rung of the organization and had no idea what went on amongst his upper echelons. This is to show that for all he was determined to show them all that he was capable of casting off the shackles they had bound him with. Ka! His rising determination is interrupted by a crow flying into the room. He made a few circles in the air before landing on the table. What the? Taking a close look at the bird, 3 noticed a specific crest adorning one of his legs. As he did, his face twisted to a grimace. It could only mean one thing. This was the method the Overseer used to communicate. Now? Not to be now. It hadn't been an entire day since 3 had delivered his report. The briefing of the next mission, maybe? When he said the words, he was gripped by indescribable senses of dread and anxiety. However much he wanted something ignore the summons, it was not a luxury he could afford. The only chance his plan had succeeding was if he was able to put a good amount of distance between himself and his would-be pursuers if the Overseer realized what had happened. Were they to ignore direct over, however, the organization would immediately recognize it as an act of rebellion, one that would inevitably lead to his death. Then preparing himself for another encounter, one that he could not avoid, 3 had set out for the meeting location. The rendezvous point was the foot of a small hill deep within the mountains, the same site had been just that morning, in fact. There remained no trace of the ominous eerie stillness that pervaded the place before, however. Bathed by the light of the setting sun, the weathered boulders seemed wreathed in brilliant flames from distance. 3 arrived to find 2 figures already waiting for him. The first was the Overseer, draped in the same tattered robe as usual. The thought occurred to 3 that made the man look more like the part of the Hermit Arcana than did the Emperor. At the man's side stood a young girl carrying a large stuffed bear, 9. Her attire was more or less the same as what she wore on the Haldor mission, with a few alterations to make more functional and mobile. Her presence there did not cause any alarm for 3. After all, if they had been called to be briefed on the next mission, it was only natural it would be son as well. Something that felt different, however. 3 couldn't put his finger on why, but anxiety began gripping his chest. So you arrived, the Overseer said as 3 approached. Yes, what is my task? The initial exchange was the same as it always was. What happened afterwards was sadly not. Make your appeal. My appeal? 3 said slowly, the anxiety rising in his chest. I received a detailed report about your treachery from 9 of Swords. I don't, 3 stammered. He was at a loss for words. He had calculated each and every outcome that could potentially happen, going over the steps and said it over and over again. The absolute worst one is now playing out right before his eyes, you dumb motherfucker. You're partnered with an analyst. Like a person, like, I'm actually kind of surprised you did this, you dumb shit, because, like, you're partnered with a girl who you know has, like, incredible observation powers. You really, really shouldn't have even bothered while you had her as a partner. A wave of despair washed over him. Could this be really happening again? Had 9 betrayed him just like Ace? It wasn't possible, 3 thought. He hadn't told her a thing. He knew that the relation was strictly professional and he could not, under any circumstances, trust her. This is how partnerships and organizations worked. How could she have known? It didn't make any sense. There's been some kind of mistake. 3 attempted to defend himself, knowing farewell was a futile endeavor. You can't talk yourself out of this, 3 of swords. 9 finally spoke, but her usual sleepy demeanor was nowhere to be found. Instead, her voice was crisp, her eyes alert. She moved the scrap paper and within the bear showed her 3. This is your ticket for the airship voyage to Rebel, the one you booked for noon tomorrow. Oh, you really are a dumb... You bought it ahead of time? Three felt the ground fall out from under him. Amidst his shock, a small part when he yelled that the ticket was a fake, that he had the real ticket. But to do so was tantamount to suicide. Oh, okay, good. 9 came speaking as though directly responding to 3's unspoken questions. The ticket you have in your possession is a counterfeit. I saw it for the genuine one while you weren't paying attention. Fresh and mission that utilized the very same kind of forgery. We now found himself a victim of the exact same trick. By the way, the name you used to acquire the ticket was Ryan's Folkfart, student of Janistro County, correct? Lines continued. That's the name you used for your false ID on one of our missions last year. That would mean you've been playing for quite some time, wouldn't it? Despite the immediate threat to his life, 9 couldn't help but admire 9's genius, strangely enough. Through decided he wouldn't even try to come up with an excuse. 9 clearly seemed right through his plan. She seemed right into his mind, really. There was just one part he didn't understand. Even if his Urdu was selling him out like this, even if she was a genius, it was a cost of proving every step, yet it had all been laid bare seemingly without trace effort. How the hell had this happened? I think that does mean you're trying to puzzle out how the entire plan was exposed, 9 said, a slight smile playing at the corner of her lips. It was clear to 3 that she was toying with him now, mocking him. You realize I've been watching the whole time we've been partners, right? You were my only target right from day one. Her tone was merciless, her words dripping with thinly veiled venom. Yes, I've been watching you 3, inspecting, observing. The only real Chan was doing patient and was waiting for you to slip up and show your true colors. Isn't that wasted the moment I became your partner? 3 struggled to wrap his mind around what 9 was saying. The fact is, you did attempt to betray the organization, but if you hadn't, I would have falsified whatever I needed to ensure your demise. She continued to speak, leaving nothing unsaid, despite the overseer's presence. With each word, 3 felt more and more baffled. To understand her observing to the degree that her job required, but where is this malicious hatred of hers coming from? She felt this way from the start? Why? The overseer had been silent for some time, like a low, derisive laugh. I take it you haven't figured out who she is. Oh yeah, she's yeah, brother. Yep. I fucking figured as soon as her hatred came up, and I see the next line. Yep. The 3 could not, for the life of him, figure out what this was supposed to mean. They looked over at 9, searching for some sort of clue. All he met with, however, was a glare of pure hatred, one that made him shudder in fear. He had never seen her look that way before. You remember Ace of Swords, her former partner, she began, before her voice gained a measured, deadly weight to it? The one you murdered? He was my brother. 3's word began spinning. He started to feel violently ill. His senses dulled, his mind went blank. It became hard to breathe, as though he was being pulled to the bottom of the sea, the air crushed out of his lungs by unrelenting pressure. Dumbass. Also, you got fucking blondie hair. You probably don't even have the same eye color. You probably look completely different. Are you adopted? Yeah, actually, no. That's actually really likely. You're probably adopted. Now, after all this time, I can finally avenge his murder. 3 barely heard 9's words as his head swam with thoughts. Ace was 9's brother. She had known everything from the start. She had been biding her time, hiding her true intentions the moment they first met. Always seeking a watchful eye for a suitable opportunity to rise. An opportunity to claim her vengeance. Now, 3, please realize how fucking odd it is that she knows about something that no one else should know about, right? Like, the only person who should know that you killed Ace is like fucking the overseer, right? Like, no one else should know. Wait a minute. Like, you're being set. You 2 have been set up by the overseer. You have to realize that, please. I see no need for you to sputter through an excuse, the overseer said, reading the shock clearly written across 3's face. We all have the facts we need. You will be purged from the organization. As per our rules, your partner, 9 of Swords, will now end your life. Hearing the overseer's words, 9 stepped forward. If you wish for assistance in this task, he asked, turning to her, you'll not be penalized. The reward will remain the same. The only condition that must be the one to deliver the final blow. Once you have eliminated him, their obligation will be cleared. Though I admit, the idea of losing such talent pains me. The reward, the right to one's freedom, gained by uncovering the next a partner who betrayed the organization. The yearning for this freedom had dominated 3's existence for years, and now 9 had been the one to gain it in exchange for his life. Allow me the honor of doing it alone, she responded. I will avenge my brother's death with my own hands. Taking another step forward, bruising a number of poison needles from inside her bear. Without a moment's hesitation, he launched them at 3. He instinctively drew his sword and batted the needles out of the air. The common attacks that had been drilled into him dictated they closed in between them, and yet didn't take as so much as a single step. His parry was purely reflexive, programming his mind through years of combat. He had no true intentions of fighting back. Perhaps partially because he didn't want to hurt her. More than anything, however, it was because he knew there was no point in resisting. He even did his best to manage Even he did manage to best 9, he would need to take on the Emperor afterwards, and knew that was a battle he had no chance of winning. 3 suddenly accepted his fate was to die there and then, and there was nothing he could do to change it. 9 pulled out roughly twice as many needles before and began launching them at her former partner. In response, he automatically drew his short sword and used both blades to swiftly deflect them. In the 3 minds, the thought slowly began sinking in. This is retribution for killing Ace. No, that's the curse? I don't know if the curse can follow you outside of Erebonia once you're infected, but assuming it is, you might be just getting cursed. The curse might just be making you depressed 3. Sorry. This was retribution for killing Ace. Or, not depressed. What would be a better way of putting this? Despondent? Yeah, that's a better way. The curse might be making you despondent. 9 leapt at him, closing distance, and began attacking with an even greater intensity. Someone like me, 3 thought, someone who slaughters a friend to preserve his own life doesn't deserve freedom. Someone like me doesn't even deserve to live. Wow, look at this. Fucking... Are you holding that with that, like, are you holding wires with your bare hand? That cannot be comfortable. 9 can hear her soaked, attacking with both her needles and her threads. Were this an ordinary situation, there was no chance it would be a match for 3 in a close quarters fight. However, his heart was on the battle, causing a significant shift in the balance of power in the fight. Eventually, 9 managed to decisively gain the upper hand, successfully lopping her threads around his neck. I'll die for her vengeance, he thought. Maybe that's the only outcome that makes sense. Maybe that's the end I deserve. 9 definitely moved her fingers and the steel collar tightened around 3's neck. Cute bear. I mean, it is a cute bear. This is the end, she said in a flat, frigid tone. 3 knew what would happen next. He closed his eyes, awaiting his end signs, but the golden embrace of death did not come. Okay, now into chapter 6. Chapter 6, 9 of Swords. My mother died soon after I was born. Oh my god, it's fucking Umi Nekoing. We're going into the flashback of the moment of payoff. Great, of course. My mother died soon after I was born. From that point, it was just me, my old brother, and our dad. As far as I can remember, my dad was a monster. He took the mirror Mom left for us and used it entirely for himself, spending each day drinking it away. You know, an effort to put it to good use, to do anything that might help our family. And when he was in a bad mood, the little safe haven we had was violently wrestled away. My brother acted more like a parent to me than Dad ever did. Whether at home or out somewhere else, he always protected me. I really hated that house, but I always felt like it was bearable when he was there by my side. Those days didn't last forever. Long forever. It was still... Okay. I was still quite young when the household ran out of money and Dad decided to put us to work. There weren't many options as a child to earn much more though, and even between my brother and I, our income barely made a scratch in the mounting debt. One day, my brother vanished and Dad announced that he had let his wings spread. In other words, he had abandoned him. It was at that moment I stopped thinking that that monster was my family. Even in such an awful situation, I still held on to the idea that my brother would come back to me one day. That meant my only option was to stay there until he did. 3 long years later, I finally received a letter from him. He wrote that he was in a miserable place, but that he was once again managing to stay alive. I was able to send him a reply by the same method, through to have a connection with him once again. I eventually found out he was forced to work as a killer for a shadow organization society called the Organization. The things he said he had to do were awful. They let him send out fucking letters? He managed to send out fucking letters. They probably didn't let him, but that's hilarious to think about. He managed to get that information out to his sister. Wow. The things he said he had to do were awful, inhuman. Just from reading his words, I could feel his pain as though it was my own. He said the organization was nightmarishly strict, and that was only thanks to his partner that he was able to send me letters in the first place. My brother wrote a lot about his partner, describing me as a true friend, almost like a younger brother. This was the only topic I saw him writing where I saw his writings often, where he seemed happy. Naturally, I found myself wanting to meet this person. That was impossible, and I knew it. I couldn't even meet my own siblings, let alone his partner in some secret assassin cabal. Continued to exchange letters like this for some time, but even that came to an end. The household ran a mirror again. I knew that was coming. I could tell it would soon be my turn. Can I stop tripping over my words? I could tell it would soon be my turn to leave. I wrote my brother telling me as much. He wrote back telling me that he and his partner decided to save the organization. Oh, I wonder why anyone was able to figure out what was happening. You literally wrote a letter. My god, Ace was dumb as shit. I could sense from his words just how resolved he was to do it. He followed his declaration with a promise to come for me, to get me out of that hell of a home. What followed, however, was at the very end of the letter was a grim note. If this escape somehow into failure, I'm going to prioritize my partner's life on my own. If it comes down to it, I'll sacrifice everything to make sure he at least gets out of here. You can trust him. If anything happens, you can rely on him to help. That was the last letter I ever received from him. In the end, however, he never came back for me, and my dad kicked me out, just as I thought he would. He had become a slovenly mess, and Liviati got himself addicted to such a nasty substance, the kind that tend to quickly drain one's finances. I knew they were destroying physically as well, but I stopped caring long ago. I was done with this disgusting scumbag I once called my dad. I used an intermediary to secure an opportunity to join the organization. It was right as I was entering training that I learned of my brother's death. I was told he was killed by his own partner. It was then my world began to fall apart. I threw myself headlong to my training, not thinking of anything else. I was distraught and trying to escape reality however I could. I ignored everyone around me, even myself. I let my soul slip into hibernation and fully assume the role of one of the organization's tools. During the day, I would follow orders, not think for myself, but the night would come, and I'd have nothing to distract me. My mind would be tormented with thoughts of my brother's passing. The realization that I was now truly alone in the world shook me, as the notion that my hands would soon be irreversibly stained with blood. Once the fear set in, there was no escaping it, and I gradually lost the ability to sleep properly. The body does have a limit, however, and I eventually fall unconscious for about an hour a night. 2 if I was really lucky, but it wasn't sleep, not really. It's far too shallow for me to physically or mentally recover much, and although the rest I did get was plagued with nightmares. Even after I woken up, those bizarre, horrid sensations remained. A year passed like this, with no improvement whatsoever. Despite that, I was able to graduate from the factory at an exceptionally fast pace. That's when I finally had the chance to meet him, the boy who fought alongside my brother as his partner. He had just finished his own re-education, a consequence of betraying the organization. As fate would have it, we were assigned as partners. He was the one who had stolen my brother from me, so I was resolved to despise him the moment we met. I quietly kept a close eye on him, observing each and every one of his movements. Before long, though, something unexpected happened. Perhaps all my pent-up fear and exhaustion had finally boiled over. Perhaps it was my instincts telling me the truth that I had been ignoring. Whatever the reason, one day we were out on a mission. I found myself able to sleep when I was next to him. I mean, actually sleep. Deeply and soundly for the first time in an entire year. There was something about his presence that gave me a sense of security. It was unlike how I remembered feeling being next to my brother, strangely enough. When I woke from this much-needed rest, so many things came rushing back. Suddenly, without warning, I found myself bawling, and those tears came pouring out. The chains that had sealed away my heart slowly began to loosen. I started feeling human again. I feel my emotions for the first time what felt like an eternity. As soon as he saw me crying, the boy quickly came over to console me, but that just made me stop faster. I quickly saw my new partner really was the person my brother wrote so fondly about. Blunt and a little awkward, but overall a deeply kind person and a very thoughtful partner. Despite being shocked with the organization and forced to kill for years, he had yet to fully surrender his humanity. He seemed to be bearing great sorrow, one form more intense than my brother had described. I could tell he wasn't the kind of person capable of betraying and murdering a friend to ensure his own survival. Given my brother's level, it wasn't hard to work out what really happened. After making their escape, the two were back in the corner and their prospects were grim. Rather than both of them being killed, it was better that at least one of them survived. The only way that happens, one of them to kill the other, to gain the forgiveness in the eyes of the organization. Why do I keep turning over the organization? I'm fucking getting pissed at myself. In the eyes of the organization. My brother knew his partner would reject the idea outright, that, even if he did accept it, he would insist on playing the part of the sacrifice. I was absolutely sure of that much. That's why my brother ended up feigning betrayal in order to get his partner to fight back and ultimately kill him. It was a plan that would spare his partner's life, but also deeply scar him in a way only an unexpected betrayal could. From that point onwards, being near him was the only way to secure enough sleep. And sleep I did, every chance I got. Midday, during missions. If there was even the slightest opportunity, it was out like a light. After all, I needed to catch up on the year of rest I had been robbed of. It was a truly surprising turn of events for me, to say the least. I soon learned the boy was tormented by constant nightmares. I imagine this when my brother played a big role. There's so many moments where I saw how he was suffering and wanted to tell him the truth, but I always stopped myself at the last second and tell myself the time wasn't right. Our missions occasionally called for performances of a sort to deceive onlookers. He was always pretty terrible at it. It was hard to say why exactly that was, though. His moves were fine, but it was his facial expressions. The factory emphasized all those in his teaching, so he received ample instruction there. There's that he always seemed to overdo things or drastically underdo them. I wonder if it may have something to do with the unshakable seriousness he always seemed to have about him. It could be a real problem sometimes, even to the point where he become more of a liability than an asset. Any onlooker with half a brain would tell that something was less than genuine about his performances. I came to the conclusion it was naturally bad deceiving others. That's why I had to keep my plans from him to prevent his terrible poker face from giving us away. He had earnestly worked on his escape for a very long time. I, of course, understood the immense difficulty of this task, and why he had to keep it to himself. Still, it made me a bit sad they never spoke to me about it. He was in a precarious position, given the organization still had his doubts about him. I wasn't about to do anything to put him at risk, of course, but his shaking acting alone could very well lead to the organization seeing him through his carefully laid scheme. If that happened, it would be the end of him, no question about it. The situation hadn't quite reached that point yet, but I knew it was only a matter of time before it did. After the Haldor Barn mission had wrapped up, I went to make my report. The man I reported to had an aura unlike anything I ever felt. He was the evil Mountsir who managed the two of us. The organization overseer, the Emperor, thinking about it now, the Emperor probably has some kind of power that lets him be at multiple places at once, because Look, if there's agents for every single one of the minor arcana running about in pairs, this man is fucking getting a lot, is either doing some absolutely painful amount of exercise or teleporting, or he has multiple bodies. He was the one forcing us to kill. His face was always obscured by a rope, but I failed to mask the malice that overflowed from him. That day he had a quiet, deadly exuberance about him, like a hawk that had locked onto its prey. There was no mistaking it. I knew he had caught on to my partner. I knew he intended to betray the organization again. I knew he would gleefully purge him when the time came, that time was getting closer with each passing day. If that's how things were going to be, I told myself, I just had to get ahead of him and put my own plans in motion. The Emperor's intentions were obvious. Aware of the cruel history my partner and I shared, he had made us partners in a bid to slowly push me towards revenge. He knew I'd eventually break and sell my part out, forcing him to go through another bit of betrayal. The Emperor was looking forward to watching it all unfold. We were both tools of the organization and the personal playthings of the Emperor, so I gave him exactly what he wanted to see. Once I finished my mission report, I told the Emperor my partner's intent to betray the organization. I then shared my plan to lure him to a specific place where they would eliminate him. I gave him a detailed explanation, making it as enticing as possible to the Emperor. It's easy enough to gain his consent. Even with his face hidden under his cowl, he could hardly contain the excitement of his voice over the coming slaughter. The laugh that escaped his throat was a sound so vile it still haunts me to this day. Later that evening, my partner arrived at the designated location, the base of a hill deep in the mountains. At first, he was shaken by the horrible realization that he'd been betrayed again. When he learned who my brother was, though, his face changed. I saw his surprise turn to despair, which in turn shifted to absolute acceptance of fate. The goal I saw heart-wrenching didn't do it justice. I focused my efforts on giving the most vicious killer possible, one equal parts mocking and murderous. I came in with the foulest, most malicious thing I could bear to say, trying to cut him to his very core. After all, the Emperor was standing right next to me. If I was to be convincing, I couldn't afford even a slight hesitation. I stepped forward. I was going to eliminate him. I stepped closer to my partner and to facilitate my threat attacks, or so I made it appear. My true objective was to put some distance between myself and the Emperor. Once I had threads around his neck, the battle was as good as over. From there, I could end his life with the flick of a finger. A transparent cord ran through the center of the web thread under my control. Everything in this cord allowed me to set out a chain reaction and twist it into a complex spiral of shape that are often used to trap distant foes during missions. Totally focused on watching his toys and the throes of bloodthirsty vengeance, it was the Emperor who had relaxed his guard the most. Right at the climax of battle, I seized the opportunity with perfect timing as I shared the unwitting Emperor, leaving him shackled and immobile. Wow, okay, the key was the transparent cord. It may have had the same cutting power as steel thread, it was more than twice as strong. Even so, I couldn't count on it to hold the Emperor for long. Without a moment's delay, I summoned all my strength upon another cord. A low rumble sound and a section of the rocky hill collapsed. Jesus Christ, how the fuck are you doing this with wires? This is fucking nonsense. I love it. This is the kind of anime nonsense I'm into. Which, I'm thinking about it and I'm wondering, I probably have a lot of problems still if Code Seal was like instead of book series. I definitely would, but like, I think giving time for description and stuff really helps sell like certain elements of the story more. A low rumble sounded and a section of the rocky hill collapsed, dropping down a torrent of rubble below. I taken my time to find the perfect location, one with brittle bedrock that I could break away on a cue. The stones roared and tumbled in a huge wave, hurling down towards the Emperor. It was in the middle of all of it was a giant boulder more than 10 yards across. Time to slow down as it fell directly into the Emperor's head, the thunder of the rock slide drowning out all other sounds. Remember, Sharon did manage to bind his hands with her metal wires. I remember that, yeah. Finally, all came crashing down. The aftermath looked as though a catastrophic earthquake had just taken place. The Emperor had taken a direct hit from a massive boulder. There's no way he could have survived that. You're right, that body is dead. He'll get up in another one, though. Even if he had somehow, he was now burying him alive. My partner looked on in confusion, still processing what just happened. "S!" I cried out, finally able to use the name I prefer to call him by. I ran over to him, burying my head in his chest. This is where I felt the most safe, by his side. Nose up against him, holding him tight, never wanting to let him go. I swear, if either one of these fuckers is the protagonist for the next game, for the fucking for the Calvard arc, and they're not an official couple, I'm going to murder someone. I'm sorry I said those horrible things I saw. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you the truth. There's so much more to explain, but those were things I wanted to say the most to him. Even though he's still reeling from everything that just happened, he was still kind enough to hold me close and try to calm me down. Now, in one of the world, before he finished his sentence, something I never predicted happened. The small mountain of falling rocks and boulders shifted slightly. Pose began to rise up into the air. It was slow but unmistakable. What's happening? Dumbfounded, all you do is look on in confusion. Is it some kind of space element art? There's no way, I mused aloud. No, that seemed right. Perhaps there's this kind of device that functions the same way as an airship's anti-gravity components? I didn't understand what was happening. I just sat there, staring blankly, my mind racing for an explanation. Before I could reach one, however, my partner spoke. His voice steeped in panic. That's the Overs, the Emperor's power. But that would mean the Emperor was still alive. That's the Overs? I'm sorry, the Emperor... What? More and more rocks began floating upwards, taking their place among the ever-increasing collection, gently balanced in the air. 9, we need to move! I continued to sit there, absolutely at a loss what to think. 3 grabbed my hand and we set off in a sprint. We had recovered a good amount of distance before we heard what sounded like a massive explosion behind us. We turned to see the boulders and rocks of all sides being flung upward in the sky like a volcano erupting before our eyes. You can continue. Yeah, but... Oh, okay, no. Okay, I get it. Espes, I had taken... You probably guessed. I took the Overs to be referring to, like, his specific power, but no, okay. So, his power is... gravity control? If you see bricks on... rocks on the... levitating, they're actually need to leg it? Oh, absolutely. Chapter 7 time. Chapter 7. Tears and Promises. 3 and 9 dug into a mountain cave on the outskirts of Luzent. They had fled their emperor as fast as the legs could carry them were now completely out of breath. As they sat there together, 9 told 3 everything she had kept from him up until then. She told him about Ace, about herself, the details of her plan, and finally what Ace's true intentions were on that night 3 years ago. At the start, 3 occasionally chimed in or asked questions, but as the conversation went on, he felt silent. By the end, his head was hung so low that 9 couldn't see his expression. He had been utterly convinced that his friend, his one true friend, had betrayed him. But in reality, Ace had sacrificed his life to ensure 3 would survive. And as thanks to the incredibly selfless sacrifice, 3 had not only killed him, but had spent the past 3 years despising his memory. Then came his sister, risking his life to save her brother's killer. 3 felt his chest tighten up as a wild mix of emotions ran through his head, threatening to overpower him. He was grateful for being fortunate enough to have 2 people in his life, Ace and 9, who he could fully trust. At the same time, he felt bottomless well of anger burst him. Anger at himself for the excuse of him being that he was. Bowed by a storm of emotions, he became increasingly ragged. S, are you crying? 9 looked at him in concern, having finished her story. She didn't need a response, however. 3's pain signs spoke volumes. I'm fine, he said, returning his usual blunt tone. Is there anything you can do to make you feel better? I said I'm fine. Despite his words, 3's head still hung low. You're an awful actor, but even a worse liar when not performing, you know that? 3 sunk down to his knees. 9 moved over to him, taking his head into her hands. She began gently ruffling his hair like a mother comforting a child. Everything's okay now, she murmured gently. It's all okay. But I... 3 stammered, his voice growing weak and hoarse. Oh. They're not gonna become a couple at all, are they? They're just gonna be fucking... I swear, if they, like... I don't trust Falcom. I don't trust Falcom to actually make official couples anymore. The last bits of the 3's facade broke down, overwhelmed by 9's kindness, and he rendered it at last. 9 was younger than 3 and definitely looked the part. At that moment, she showed almost a motherly level of understanding and compassion. For someone like 3, who grew up without that warmth, it was his first time being comforted by someone. His first time feeling the warmth of a family. I know how strong you've had to be, S. And how hard it's been for so long, but it's okay now, I promise. No longer able to hold his emotions back, he finally broke down. A lifetime's worth of tears came flooding out of his eyes all at once. I'm such a wretched excuse for he sobbed, no longer to show his voice in the slightest. Hot tears poured down his cheeks, staining the cool floor of the cave. That's not true, you know that's not true, 9 said softly, continuing to run her fingers through his hair. Why am I still alive? Why isn't Ace here instead? He weakly slammed his fist against the ground in frustration. Not another word of that, I won't hear it. You're the one who's been there for the past few years, US. But it's because of me that Ace... Listen, that just means you need to fight twice as hard. You're living for him now, too. 3 words failed him as he overtaken by sobbing, his years of pain and suffering pouring out of him. After some time, 3 was able to calm himself down someone and regain his composure. I'm here for you, so you don't have to cry, 9 told him. Well, if you ever want to, then that's okay, too. So which is it, then? 3 retorted, his detached demeanor creeping back. He suddenly became aware of the fact that he was in her arms and hurriedly pulled away, immediately shifting the conversation back towards the exchange of information in an attempt to mask his sudden embarrassment. They finished catching up and turned their attention to the current predicament. The overseer had figured me out. He knew I was going to try and make a run for it. And that's why he moved to strike first, in order to outmaneuver him, 3 thought out loud. That's right. I've been watching the whole time, waiting for an opportunity to take him down. I wish you told me beforehand. And at least for the element of surprise their awful acting skills, 9 gave out a wry grin. Yeah, I don't think so. 3's face scrunched up a bit. Was 9 the Emperor had caught on to his plan, so there's no room to defend himself in that regard. I chose the moment to be the most distracted, 9 continued, switching to serious expression. My time was perfect, and my preparations were more than enough. But despite all that, despite everything, despite being buried under a massive pile of boulders, the Emperor was still very much alive. No matter how much he thought, 9 still couldn't figure out how that was possible. It's likely his tower's work, 3 said. 9, that was incredibly risky. Oh, yes it was. Absolutely intensely risky. Like, what if he was reading you? Come on. He said the same thing earlier, right as they took off running. What exactly is power? 9 asked. I'm fairly certain he can control gravity somehow, 3 said. He did something similar when Ace and I fought him 3 years ago. 3 retched open a bitter, painful memory of Gamera lying what he remembered 9. He and Ace had been able to fend off the first pair of assailants sent after them by the organization. But then they had to come face the Emperor. Even with the elements rising on their side, even when they cornered their attacks perfectly, facing him proved exceptionally difficult. They found the bodies heavy and clumsy, and their movements lacked precision and skill. The Emperor, on the other hand, was nimble as he could be, almost inhuman so, and the two were quickly overpowered. So what do you think, 3-Legged 9, awaiting your input? There's no sign of him starting to cast a charge up, so I doubt he's doing his arts, she said, her brow furrowed in thought. As a portable gravity manipulation device, small enough for a single person carrying its seal, well, given modern technology, it's seriously hard to imagine. He might have an artifact, something like that. An avalanche couldn't kill him, he had enough control to be moved into stones and boulders. 9 scratched her head in frustration. This sucks. Really don't have a lot to go on here. He paused, thinking a moment more, then continued. In any case, unless something major changes, he's too powerful for us. Any attempt at a direct attack is going to result in our deaths. They fell silent for a time, until 3 spoke up, a grave expression on his face. The time comes when we have to choose. We're going to prioritize your life, 9. You need to be the one to kill. Stop it! 9 signs 3 with outbursts of pure emotion. Far more raw than your usual self. Then at least you'll be able to do. If you die, I'm going right after you, she shouted. I'll do it myself if I have to. Good. I like her. I like 9 a lot. She's actually quite... I enjoy this story. Why am I enjoying the story much more than I'm enjoying the actual main story? The calm motherly figure from before was nowhere seen. 9 was in a frenzy now, almost like a child throwing a tantrum. Regardless of her tone, however, her words were very heartfelt and earnest. I can't go back to not being able to sleep, her voice dropped to whisper. I can't go back to being alone. Also, the fact that her sleepy time routine that we saw in fucking, It's interesting because the sleepy time routine we saw in the first 3 parts of the book is then recontextualized, which is really cool. The Emperor either wants to deal with him personally or he can't summon any more assassins. I mean, under the current circumstances, he probably can't summon any more assassins. The way her feelings were clear to 3. Seeing this, he let out a short sigh. Then you have my word. No matter what happens, I'll protect you. That's not what I'm asking for. Okay, you're right, 3 said, taking a deep breath. Then promise that we'll survive this. We'll get through it together. 9 looked at 3 with imploring, almost pleading eyes. You swear? I swear, he said. Now, if we're going to have a chance at this, we need to do everything we need to do everything perfectly. Rock's lie was massive enough that despite the fact he died, it was hard to imagine the Emperor was completely unscathed. They tried to flee now, the Rising would quickly find them again, and they would have to contend with the Emperor at his full strength. The pair knew if they were going to make a move, now was the time. Let's do it then, we'll take him out. And the last part I have currently, Gravity and Artifacts, Chapter 8. Three and 9 returned to the hill, or more accurately, where the hill used to be. It was now completely unrecognizable. A sizable chunk of it was gone, having been strewn out of the area in the form of countless bits of rubble. The Emperor stood right where they had left him, seemingly unfazed. As 3 and 9 had summarized, he had sustained at least some manner of injury. Nothing major, but his ever-present robe, which he had hidden his face, had been reduced to little more than a shredded cape. Underneath, he wore a gold helmet bearing a crown design. In his hand, he carried a gold scepter with a spherical tip. His body was covered in gold armor. The word ostentatious was insufficient to describe his heavily gilded countenance. Everything about him suggested both needless grandeur and wicked condescension. I need you to return. You two aren't complete fools after all, the Emperor called out to them. 3 and 9 remained silent as they slowly approached. So have you decided which of you two will regain the organization's favor? 3 and 9 turned to each other and nodded. 3 moved his head from his sword? No. 3 removed his hand from his sword, leaving it sheathed. 3 knelt down and closed his eyes, showing extent of what was to come. In response, 9 put out some of her poison needles and silently launched them at 3's neck. Or at least that's how she made it appear. At last time, with the needles apart from her fingers, she deftly altered the trajectory, sending them speeding towards the Emperor instead. The invented projectiles whizzed perfectly through the air as ever. However, as they neared their intended target, they simply curved downwards sharply, pummeling harmlessly to the ground. Very well. I hear your answer loud and clear, the Emperor exclaimed, looking up at the pair. You both wish to die today. Not a chance, 9 called out, throwing another volley of needles right at the Emperor. The trajectory suddenly shifted, again, this time upward. From his kneeling position, 3 quickly shifted his stance and pushed forward off the ground with all the power he could muster in his legs. He launched out the Emperor, bringing to a full-on charge. We got enough! You're the one meeting their death today! My god, if these two fucking kill... If these two manage to kill an enforcer, I'm just imagining, like... Can you imagine if fucking, like, Ouroboros, if, like, the Grandmaster or Tori or someone comes by immediately afterwards, like, Oh shit, you kids did a good job. Hey, you want to become enforcers? No, we don't want to work for the organization. Sorry, you misunderstand. If you're an enforcer, you kind of can just do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you two want to leave, that's fine. We don't expect anything of you. You just won't be hunted by us, you know? That's all. Wait, really? Yeah. Okay then. Can you imagine if that's how this ends? They become dual enforcers, and they just kind of fuck off and never participate with Ouroboros at all. That'd be fucking hilarious to me. The began slashing away his target with incredible speed. His lightning quick strikes grew slow and sluggish as soon as they neared the Emperor, however. With his assailant speed so drastically curbed, the man was able to use his golden scepter to obviously bat aside the boy's assault. In the same instant, 9 seconds set news changed direction in the air and began falling straight toward the Emperor. She had managed to calculate the range of his gravitational field with just a single throw. Once she inserted effects on projectiles, she had revised her trajectory. Moreover, she had factored in the increased acceleration, the higher gravity, and her news would hit harder than normal. Despite all that, however, her attack was neutralized by a flick of the Emperor's gilded arm. It was still not enough to penetrate his armor. It was, however, more than sufficient to arouse his ire. You dare defy me? Me? Levity swung his scepter downward. 3 immediately reacted, just barely able to block the attack with a sword. Even so, the impact alone threw him back several yards. Also, I'm going with A's assumption here. The Emperor probably wants to kill them personally because he hates the fact they've disobeyed him. Three could feel his brain round and skull from the force of blow. There's no way the Emperor's physical strength and weight the scepter alone could do that. It occurred to Three that there must be another way he was able to manipulate gravity. You will be purged, the Emperor said in a low growl. The same words Three had heard him say a few hours ago and 3 years ago. When the Emperor spoke like this, it was nothing than the arbitration of a death sentence. That does make sense in these organizations. Oh yeah, totally in this one too. As sound those words passed Mary's bubble in Three's minds, and no terror began to grip him. His legs grew wobbly and he started to stagger. One glance back at Nine was all it took to restore his resolve, however. He forced himself back to his feet, reflexively snapping in defiant stance, and Nine continued to provide covering fire with the news as he resumed his assault. Their approach proved no more fruitful than before. Even so, as Three continued to fight under such grueling conditions, he slowly became more capable. His understanding of his foe's gravitational trickery improved, and his strikes grew more swift and precise as a result. The way his muscles intuitively reacted, the angle and speed at which he swung his swords, he was slowly chipping away at the Emperor's overwhelming advantage. Though Three may not have enjoyed the same powers insight his partner possessed, his skills in close quarter combats were elite even by the most exacting of standards. For her part, Nine's cover was solid and unwavering. Realizing her needles had no hope of piercing the Emperor's golden plating, she and his son began aiming for gaps between his pieces. It was an incredibly difficult task, but as she grew more accustomed to the disrupting effects of the gravitational field, she was gradually getting closer. She began weaving in offensive arts along with her volley's needles in order to keep the Emperor on his toes. Her attacks appeared simple enough for her foe to deal with, but they still managed to pull his attention away from Three, even if only a moment. The fight raged on. After a bit of time, 3 and 9 appeared to had fully begun gaining the upper hand. The Emperor did not seem to phase the slightest. His aggression was unreadable beneath the shadow of his helmet, but it was clear from his body language he still believed himself fully in control of the situation. The man is wearing douche armor, I see. Yeah, Falcon would never have been able to animate this at this point. I appreciate not having to see this very bad cutscene. Three managed to land the occasional strike, but even his sword seemed to be low against Emperor's impossibly resilient armor. In an attempt to land a heavier blow, Three launched over in the air, intending to let gravity carry his swords downwards as Nine's needles had. However, he found himself soaring up far higher than intended, possibly so as he thought he had suddenly sprout rings. His mark completely missed, he lost his balance and began tumbling through the air. Could have only been due to more of his foe's trickery. Reduced gravity. Extra seeing the opening, the Emperor raised his scepter overhead, then swung it downwards. As it mimicked his motion, Three suddenly dropped out of the air, thrown to the hard ground below like a rag doll. You're making it real easy to know where your power is coming from, my man. Like, are you forgetting that one of your enemies here has, like, wires? And wires that probably aren't that affected by gravity? Like, she can just... She could probably just, like, throw... If she's weaving them around and getting them closer to your scepter, she can just kind of, like, yank, and then you're out of luck. Gah! There, knocked out his youngs, Three struggled to catch his breath, sending out mouthfuls of blood in between gasps. That 9 compared to Orbital Engines makes it a bit more credible. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I like the, like... I almost want to do a comparison between the fucking plot of Code, like, any kind of storyline in Code Steel and this, and then just kind of compare why, like, this is actually really good. Like, undeniably good. There, air and not, hey, get out of the way, he's not done. Saved by Nine's frantic warning, Three just barely managed to roll out of the way. A split second later, the scepter slammed down to the ground where he had just been. As the gravity-enhanced scepter connected with the rocky ground below, it allowed a powerful blast, leaving a crater in its wake. S! The other shockwave launched 3 aside, knocking him into relative safety. Had taken the direct hit, who had been completely pulverized. Though dazed, he was still aware enough to signal to Ninth that he was okay, for himself to his feet. The battle completely changed. The Emperor had beyond mundane gravity on a constant cycle, and through his forced in defense position. Whenever he managed to get a handle on his foe's barrage of attacks, he found the gravity level altered yet again, forcing him to start back at 0. This boss was fighting such an ever-changing conditions. The situation was taxing for Nine as well. Sound so forced to constantly recalculate the field's range and gravity value, severely reducing the number of effective attacks she was able to launch. Despite their bleak outlook, the two of them continued to hold out. Even under pressure, the Ares served as excellent vanguard, consistently denying the Emperor any opportunities for a decisive strike. Nine New York to back him up flawlessly, acting like a surgical precision that ensured no opening went to waste. As she called out to him as he leapt back, putting some distance between himself and the Emperor, I think he figured something out. Let's hear it. Three wait for her to continue, keeping his guard up, watching closer any sign of attack from the Emperor. Have I said anything different when you and Ace fought him before? Was he carrying anything in his left hand back then? Three glanced at his foe's left hand, seeming empty. He thought back to 3 years ago. Sorry, hold on a second. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Now to mention, I'm pretty sure he had an orb with him, purple with a golden scepter with a crow on it. The battle back then was completely one-sided. Just as I suspected, Nine nodded. He had been also sensed something was different, but it suddenly chalked up the Emperor touring with them. I didn't consider them to be a true threat. Factoring what Nine had just pointed out of her, cast things different light. Oh, so you realized? The Emperor paused his odd sight as though in recognition of Nine's keen observation. See the influence he has on him now? He said at one point he had 4 different artifacts that let him control gravity. Oh, they're figuring out what the trick is. Oh, that's neat. So he held thing here, he has the staff, and... Is there supposed to be something on his crown and on his helmet and stuff? You see the influence he has on him? I said at one point he had 4 different artifacts that let him control gravity. 4, huh? 3 said, taking note of the Emperor's equipment. Right, a helmet with a crown motif that can increase or reduce the overall level of gravity. Armor that absorbs the force imparted by attacks the moment they're received. A set of the sends a devastating gravitational wave that makes it contact when it makes contact with the target. And an orb with a crow perch on that allows weird auto gravity on a target-by-target basis. Nine paused her a moment, she looked directly defiantly at the Emperor. The reason he had worn that tattered cloak now was clear. Someone who wielded so many artifacts at once as he did, it would be necessary to conceal them. Failure to do so would surely attract unwarranted attention to the church. No. No, why would you say that? No, no way. I mean, the church? Why would the church care about the artifacts? I mean, there was a giant 3 giant fuck-off bells they just can't let anyone deal with after they learned they were evil as fuck. Yes, I'm still hung up on that. Now they mentioned this time around, he wasn't even moving faster while slowing us down at the same time, 3 said. When we fought him before, we couldn't even touch him. It was true that in their fight against him, 3 and Ace had been strolling under different levels of gravity than the Emperor. There's no doubt he was toying with them in the present, but at the very least both sides were battling under the same levels of gravity, constantly shifting though they were. As such, the Bears' odds of winning were much better this time around. I think he either lost the orb at some point or was destroyed, or at least damaged in the rock slide. Wow. Also, okay, is it coming across to me, like, I know having to be able to, like, use all these artifacts at once is probably not the easiest thing, but whatever, this guy's coming across to me as, like, a pathetic fucking enforcer, okay? Like, he's an enforcer whose he's only good in combat because he's got fucking 4 artifacts that let him do gravity shit. Like, you serious? The pair realized that were true, now was their best chance to take down the Emperor once and for all. A talented tool indeed. The Emperor's voice was low, tinged with a hint of perverse delight. The artifact said wearer can be known as a monarch's regalia. Impressed to be able to analyze their capabilities in such a limited amount of time. You, Nine of Swords, are truly outstanding. Water would stomp him, you think? Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't want your praise, you freak. Ignoring Nine's retort, the Emperor continued on, his exhilaration giving way to violent savagery. Also, his armor helps him being tanky. Yeah, this man, I'm gonna say now, so far, most pathetic enforcer we've seen. Luciola at least could summon mist monsters and shit, like, and mind fuck people. Not mind control, just mind fuck. But you know, this guy is actually much less impressive. He's basically a fucking pay-to-win player on an MMO server. I don't want your praise, you freak. Ignoring Nine's retort, the Emperor continued on, his exhilaration giving way to violent savagery. If he's even an enforcer. I mean, if he's not an enforcer, I expect the story to end with an enforcer showing up, the actual Emperor enforcer showing up going, who the fuck infringed on our copyright? Die! But even the greatest tool is worthless. It will not submit to its rightful place in my hand. His body began levitating, broken chunks of earth on foot rising upward with him. With all the force he could muster, he swung the scepter into a nearby boulder. And worthless tool was supposed to be disposed of. In that instant, the boulder shattered into sharp shards of all shapes and sizes sent rocketing towards 9. Watch out, 3 cried. Oh, Jesus Christ. The shards flew like a salvo of bullets from 1,000 different guns, all of them pointing directly at one target. It was a grim sight, not unlike a single soldier standing before an assault of an entire army. Panicked, 3 rushed into the line of fire. He brandished his sword and everything he could to prevent the charge from reaching 9. He deflected and broke what he could, using his body to shield the rest. There was a considerable distance between him and 9, one that could not easily be covered. 9 already leapt in the way, great many shards were already too far ahead. 3 was too late. 9 overlooked the chance of avoiding the entirety of the attack, instead devoted efforts to simply avoiding the worst piece of the stone flying at her. There were far too many, however, and one man just slipped through her defenses. Severed directly to the abdomen, and a red mist sprayed from her mouth as she crumbled to the earth. And that's it. I don't have the last 2 stories yet, so that is all I have for now. Huh. Okay. Well, we've actually managed to catch up on our reading for once. That's good. Hi, Flan. You got here just in time for the stream to end. Damn. But I just read all of 3 and 9. That was fun. I like that. Okay. You know, I had a good time with that, actually. Real good time. I'm probably gonna try adding more to the board at some point, but I'm happy to have read a good story. That's entertaining. I'm actually excited for the last 2 books to be gotten. But anyway. Thank you, everyone, for coming to today's live stream. If this is your first time coming, I suggest you subscribe and the notification bell so where I'm streaming. If you like the video, leave a like and a comment, leave a comment down below, and share the stream around with whoever think may be interested. I'm very sorry, Flan, for the bad timing, but you know. Thank you all again. Thank you all very, very much. If this is your first time coming, I suggest you subscribe and the notification bell so where I'm streaming. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment below, leave a comment, and share the stream around with whoever think might be interested. Until next time, when I go to Rokajima tonight, kill me. I'm gonna get close, I'm gonna get quiet, and I'm gonna say goodbye.